sent away, and we are underway here in Miami Gardens. This is going to be a touchback, so Florida A&M takes over at the 25-yard line for their first drive of this game. They are led by Daniel Richardson, who played some ball at Central Michigan. He was at Florida Atlantic last year, and he's been outstanding his first 2 games this year for us.
And when you look at Richardson, one of the things that he does extremely well is he keeps his eyes down the field when he's got pressure in his face. He doesn't get rattled, and he'll have to be able to look down the field and find receivers because Miami is going to bring the pressure early and often with the exotic defensive packages that they bring to the table.
Thad Franklin Jr., the running back in the backfield with Daniel Richardson. Miami crowding the box here on 1st and 10. Richardson steps up, good on the move, low throw incomplete. Intended target is his top receiver, Gassett. Coverage on the play by Deani Hill.
And one of the things Miami's going to do, they're going to bring 4, 5, 6 to the line of scrimmage. They want the offensive linemen to try to get into they want to get into the offensive linemen's heads. They want to try and make them think. So the offensive linemen have to do a good job of identifying what your assignment is prior to the snap of the football.
Moves Franklin to his right. Richardson hands off this time. They'd like to establish the run, but it's going to be tough against a stout Miami defense. Tackle on the play by Jaden Harris up from his safety spot.
And for Florida A&M to be successful in this football game, they're going to have to establish the run.
They've averaged 125 on the ground in their first 2 games. It's really been the damage through the air with Richardson, but that was a focal point in our conversation this week with the Rattlers coaching staff. Richardson moving, creating time with his legs, and there's just no one open. What a pick! It's Wesley Besaint, the junior, local product from Miami, and what a start for the Hurricanes.
And if you watch what Miami's doing, they're playing press man on the outside. They feel confident about their defensive backs being able to cover up those receivers. They play one high safety. They brought the free safety down to press Richardson and make him get rid of the football. If you watch how Richardson gets outside of the pocket, you've got the safety coming downhill, and he gets rid of the football, and you see the adjustment by Besaint to reach back behind his body and grab that football. That's some of that local talent that Mario's keeping home. You see it right there with the dynamic interception.
Besaint setting the tone defensively, and now here is Cam Ward and company. 1st and 10 inside the Florida A&M 30-yard line. Handoff to Martinez, who gets outside and has blockers, and the big man stumbles down toward the 17-yard line. Damian Martinez, another big-time transfer from Oregon State. One play in their first down, their first down of the game on offense. Now Ward gonna throw it for the first time. Looks one way, back the other, lofts it over the middle. Wide open man, it's Elijah Arroyo, one of those tight ends. And what a start for Miami.
And that is an example of the calm with Cam Ward. You see him wait and allow his receiver to break open. He's just calm back there. He knows where he wants to go at the football. You see the ball fake to the outside. That's to influence the safety and get those guys to drop over. And he knew where his tight end was coming across the formation, and he delivered a strike.
One of the best offensive lines in the country last year. They feel like they've got another really good group this year. Extra point from Andres Borregales is good, and it's 7-0 Miami. That's a quick start for us. It starts with the defense, and it's the little one-hand stop from Besaint and the toe tap on the sideline. That's a linebacker. And then cool Cam delivering it to Arroyo. Ward to Arroyo after the interception by Basaint, and Miami is off to the perfect start. Just a minute and 20 seconds in, 7-0 over Florida A&M as the Rattlers get set for their second possession. Borregales lining things up. Lining things up. It's Miami's home opener, fresh off that very impressive, convincing 41-17 win at Florida in week 1. Another touchback, 1st and 10 at the 25 for Florida A&M. Let's check in with Marilyn Payne.
Wesley Basaint has Miami's defense looking great early despite being without 2 key starters. Ruben Bain Jr., the reigning ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year, went out early against Florida, and he is not playing today with a lower body soft tissue injury. Damari Brown, also hurt later in that Florida game, is out. At cornerback in Brown's place, you'll see Darryl Porter Jr. on the field starting today. And at the D-line, you got Tyler Barron and Elijah Alston holding it down on the ends. Here's the deal. Barron's so fired up in warmups that Ruben Bain was telling him, man, calm down, save some of it for the game. And he went up to him, asked, why do I need to save it? Why do I need to calm down? So that's who you've got out there.
This is a team that is extremely deep, and you see that defensive line going right back to work there. O.J. Frederic was one of them in on the tackle. Tyler Barron, one of those that you were talking about, also in on the stop. They just have so much talent on this team.
Well, you talk about a team that when Coach Cristobal got here, it was about rebuild. Now they're in the reload mode with this ball club with all of the talent that they have. And they're going to play up the field aggressive. They're not sitting back waiting for you to decide what you want to do and then reacting. They're coming up the field and making you react to what they are doing.
Florida A&M behind the sticks, 2nd and 11. Another handoff up the middle, and for the first time, space. And breaking free is Franklin, and they have their first down of the game. Thad Franklin Jr., a senior from West Park, Florida.
And if you watch on this play, they brought a delayed blitz, and it was a great job by the Florida A&M offensive lineman identifying what their assignment is. You see the zone blocking and climbing up to the second-level defenders. A good job by TJ Lee to get up to the second-level defender and cover him up. That's what those guards have to do. You've got to get up and cover up those linebackers and give your backs a seam to get up the field.
1st and 10 at the 39. Quick pass out wide to just try to get something going in the passing game. And again, tackled as right at the sticks. The grab by Jeremiah Pruitt, one of the tight ends.
And that's the strength of this Florida A&M offense, that tight end position. Kobe Gross, Carter Johnson, Jeremiah Pruitt. Those 3 guys are interchangeable from that tight end position. They allow them to keep the same personnel on the field and change up formations because of their versatility.
Joseph Henry talked to us about that. They don't just have to run the football with multiple tight end sets. They can throw it as well. 2 receivers to the left for Richardson. Decent pocket, now stepping up, and it collapses on him. Dragged down just a touch behind the line. C.J. Clark, a transfer from NC State.
And he panicked on that play because he had a good pocket. You know, you step up in the pocket, the tackle got pushed into him, but the guards in the center did a good job of being stout at the point of attack. Step up, you don't have to run all the way up, just take one step up, and I thought he had an opportunity to get the ball down the field.
First career Miami sack for C.J. Clark coming over from NC State this year. 3rd and 11. Richardson with a little bit of time, floats it out wide, nice ball, but gonna come up short of the sticks. Quick stop made by Jaden Harris on Kobe Gross.
And because of the immediate pressure, Richardson had to get rid of the ball with the short route. He did not have an opportunity to look down the field for some of his other receivers that have gotten past the sticks. He had to get rid of it prematurely. One of the things the tackles have to do when they go to the sideline as they game plan is they have to figure out a way to do a better job on the outside because these defensive ends are squeezing that pocket, not giving him the width that he needs.
Cameron Gillis lining up in punt formation with, Trey Wilhoit in punt formation. Ray Joseph deep to return. This is a booming punt down inside the 5, and it's caught by Joseph basically at the goal line, but he is electric. Chopped down at the 17. Joseph didn't play week 1. He wanted to go. There's a flag in the middle of the field about the 27-yard line. Our referee, John Noley, today, as they get things sorted out, and we've got to get our first word from him. Jordan Cumberbatch called for holding on the punt return. Something that we didn't see much from Miami in week 1, just a couple penalties, and they were pass interference calls in the defensive secondary.
Well, you had to look at that punt and think maybe they didn't think he was going to return it because it was so deep. So they probably weren't prepared to get, the blocking scheme going.
Cam Ward out there for drive number 2. Their first drive, 2 plays, 28 yards in 33 seconds. And it was just a nice little touch pass to Elijah Arroyo. And you saw this kid when he was, before we knew Cam Ward. You got a chance to see him at Incarnate Word. What were your initial thoughts?
I was in shock because I'm sitting there calling the game and I'm like, okay, this is the state of Texas. How did Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Baylor, how did any of these guys not see this kid? I mean, and it happens sometimes. Some people just go under the radar, but he's been as dynamic as he is now for the last 4 or 5 years.
Handoff to Martinez, basically on the goal line as he plunges forward to the 5-yard line and picks up about 3.5 yards on first down. Part of it was the high school he went to was running the wing T, so in a way kind of took away his ability to make plays with his arm. Exploded, though, at Washington State for 2 years and now finishing things up here at Miami. Wants to throw it quick this time, out wide. Broken tackle and not much doing, though. This Florida A&M defense rallying to the football right there. Jacoby George on the catch. Eric Horn, the Iowa State transfer, on the tackle.
And a great job by Andre Powell Jr., number 7. He didn't make the tackle, but he slowed him down enough for Pursuit to get there. A good job reading that play, dissecting a seam to get up the field and slow that ball carrier down.
Horn's second year at Florida A&M, after starting his career at Iowa State, has already topped his tackles number from last year. Ward, clean pocket, out wide open receiver. It's Martinez out of the backfield. First down, Miami.
What's interesting, when you look at these receivers, look at these backs, they're huge. You talk about Martinez out of the backfield. He's out there split like a wide receiver. But here's a guy that is 6 foot, 235 pounds.
Ward trying to escape, but he's dragged down by 2. Simeon Hines and Alan Smith Jr. in on the sack.
And you see the FAMU defensive line. You see they brought pressure on the outside. Miami has to do a better job, and that's the new offensive tackle, 6'9", 340-pound Markel Bell, number 70. Big fella, you got to move your feet and get a kick step on the outside. You can't reach over your body. You've got to get that big body in front of that defender.
Filling in for Jalen Rivers at left tackle. Ryan Rodriguez is also out today. Matt McCoy fills his spot at left guard. Long throw for Ward and a diving catch along the sideline. Sam Brown, the Houston transfer, in on the grab.
And you see the arm strength by Cam Ward. That is a very difficult throw to throw from the opposite hash marks across the field. But a good job by him getting the ball out to where only his receiver can make a play on it.
Third and 8, spreading things out. Martinez in the backfield, 2 receivers each way. What can Ward do on 3rd and long? Plenty of time. Fires across the middle. Riley Williams on the grab. Hurdles a man, and he's undercut just beyond midfield.
Too much time for Cam Ward. You allow him to survey the field. You see him go through his progressions. He didn't see what he liked with the short crossing route. He's able to find Riley Williams on the deep crossing route. He wanted the short crossing route initially, but he saw Riley Williams on the deep crossing route. Good job by Cam.
Talked about the tight ends for Florida A&M. It's a deep position group for Miami as well. They're looking for more out of them this season than last. Need them to stay healthy. Ward passing on 1st and 10. Looking downfield seam, and guess who? Mr. Reliable, Xavier Restrepo. Touchdown number 2 of the day for Cam Ward.
And you see the Florida A&M defenders looking around. There had to be a busted coverage right there. Michael Opong, number 13, is kind of looking around like, okay, who's got him? That is the most dangerous receiver on the ball club. Somebody, you have to have 2 people with eyes on Restrepo. There's no way you should let him get wide open like that.
Miami, quick snap out to Riley Williams, and he's going to walk it in. They go for 2, and it works. Hurricanes having fun for us.
It was almost disrespectful the way they did, just walked in. And once again, Cam does a good job of reading the defense. You see Restrepo going down the seam. Nobody goes with him. You see 13, Michael Opong with his hands up in the air. And Ward reacts to his guy once again. He's pointing to the sideline, letting him know, be quiet. I am the guy. I am the one. You got one, Miami.
Fifth-year senior Xavier Restrepo with touchdown number 2 today from Coconut Creek, Florida. All ACC first-team receiver last year, 85 catches. That's a Miami single-season record. Their offensive coordinator told us he shows up every single week.
I mean, he's a clone of Braxton Berrios. I mean, Wesley Welker. I mean, those guys are just different, the way that they play the game. They play with an aggression. They play with a joy for the game, and they're just tough.
Goldie Lawrence and Jalen Ward deep to return for Florida A&M. Borregales set to send it away for the 3rd time. He's having a busy day right now for Miami. Another touchback. Let's go down to Maryland.
The crowd noise behind the Florida A&M bench on behalf of the Canes fans is building as Miami's touchdowns are. But James Colsey III, the head coach of the Rattlers, he made sure his guys would be prepared by, of course, blasting noise, music all week long at 6 a.m. practice this week. And then he wanted to apologize to the students at FAMU. He brought 144 donuts and invited the student body to come by the team facility to pick some up while he said sorry. Daniel Richardson, meanwhile, quarterback for FAMU, he said, I'm not worried about the crowd noise. We are a clap cadence team anyway, so I'm always prepared. And even after the last TG, he looked at the O-line and said, I'm not worried. I'm still not worried.
Well, the second drive was more productive. They did get a first down and showed a little bit of promise. That's a nice tackle out in the flats. Carter Johnson on the catch, but tracked down quickly. Chase Smith in on the stop. You going to get in line for the donuts in that case?
Absolutely not.
You got me. You got me. We did ask him, are you going to deliver those? And he said, no, they got to come get them.
They got to come get them. Hey, he bought them. Now the question is, was it Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme?
I look like Krispy Kreme, I think. 2nd and 9 for Richardson. Again, has a decent amount of time. Lost one deep, wide open receiver. Caught on the sideline by Quan Lee. That's just his 2nd catch of the season.
And a good job by Richardson on that play to stay calm in the pocket. He saw what he wanted, and that's just a busted coverage right there. You see number 41, Chase Smith, he got crossed up when they had the receiver come across his face. He's got to maintain contact with that receiver.
You heard from Maryland earlier, Damari Brown, one of those top defenders out for Miami at that corner spot, so you do have some other guys out there, and some of them very young players. Richardson handing off, nowhere to go, just bottled up in the backfield, led by Jaden Harris, who we've said his name a ton from his safety spot.
And one of the things Florida A&M has to understand is you've got to be north and south. You cannot run east and west against this Miami ball club. They're getting up the field. You've got to find a seam and you've got to hit it. That is the only way they're going to be successful with that rushing attack. I think going east and west, now you're giving that defense the time that they need to pursue from the backside and for those defenders that are getting up the field to get contact.
We saw that in week 1 from this Miami defense. They have a ton of team speed. Absolutely handled Florida in Gainesville. Richardson stepping up again, has some time now on the move, running, throwing, and caught! What a grab downfield by Jamari Gassett.
And that is what I like about this kid, Richardson. Even under pressure, he keeps his eyes down the field looking for his receivers, and that is why he's been able to be successful. You see this in a great job by the receiver getting under the football and cuddling the football. A great job by Gassett. I didn't think he was going to be able to get to it, but he was able to get across the field, get his hands under that football, cuddle it and not allow it to move and squeeze it towards his body. But Richardson is doing a good job when he escapes the pocket of keeping his eyes down the field as his receivers get open.
Gassett just 1 reception last week after a big week 1. They've had 2 come from behind victories to start the season. Now Richardson, just a little body movement to make a man miss. Inside the 5 to the 4 before swarmed by Hurricanes. Kobe Gross, the tight end again. He has 11 catches on the year already, and there's a flag on the field.
Once again, Richardson does a good job of
personal foul, roughing the quarterback, defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
And that is what happens when a quarterback escapes the pocket and makes big plays. The defense gets mad. So when they get an opportunity to take a hit out on them, they're going to do that. But I like what Richardson is continuing to do. He's avoiding those defenders. He's waiting till the last minute to get the ball to his playmakers. Now you see on this play, he avoids the defender. He gets the ball to his playmakers, and they take a shot above the shoulder pads. You have to protect the quarterback. A good job by the officials identifying that and making that call.
Look, Forrest, this is an FCS school, but they have 50 new players on the roster this year. 33 transfers, 28 of them from FBS programs who have seen atmospheres and teams like Miami. It's been a great response on this drive. Franklin lowers the shoulder, but he stops short of the goal line.
Well, I'll tell you what this team has. They have the attitude of James Colsey. And you got to remember, James Colsey played for Mickey Andrews, one of the best defensive coordinators in college football history. So he has a swagger about him, and you see that exuded from this Florida A&M ball club. And you remember, this is the Black College national champion, reigning national champion. So they play with a chip on their shoulders.
12-1 last season. They have a 21-game home winning streak. James Colsey didn't inherit a program in shambles. He inherited a thriving program. Richardson, handoff to the tight end. Gross does fall forward. Excuse me, Johnson does fall forward.
And you know what I'm most appreciative of? They're inside the 5-yard line, and they're lining up under center. They're not lining up in pistol formation. They're lining up in shotgun. They're lining up under center, and they're challenging their offensive linemen to get the job done. Now, what these offensive linemen need to do is they need to accept the challenge. Get down on all fours. You want to bear crawl. You want to uproot those defenders. This is why you do goal line at the end of practice. This is what you do it for. So this is the big challenge for them right now. And I know Coach Colsey is challenging that offensive line, that big offensive line that comes in at 6'5", 302 pounds. He's challenging those guys to step up and make a play.
James Colsey and company want a timeout.
Timeout. Florida A&M.
They want to talk this over. A massive
30
3rd and goal coming up after a dreadful start for Florida A&M. It's been a great response from the Rattlers. Well, it was the Hurricanes storming out of the gates, 15-0 over Florida A&M, and it looked like they were just going to completely run away in this first quarter, but James Colsey has really rallied the troops. Daniel Richardson has completed his last 6 passes. He's 4 for 4 on this drive for 74 yards. 3rd and goal at the 1-yard line. The big boys out there, but now they're going to spread things out. Franklin behind Richardson, under center. It looked like Richardson moved, and I think he did.
Richardson,
False start. Offense, number 23. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
I'm going to put that on the center because Richardson looked like he thought the ball was going to be snapped and he was getting ready to run the quarterback sneak. What they did, they spread them out so they could have seams to try and push the ball up and get the touchdown, but you've got to snap the football. You cannot have those mental errors on the 1-yard line.
Well, how about the confidence to line up against this Miami team on the road and try to sneak it in from a yard out?
Well, they've got a 26-pound weight advantage across the board, and the expectation is you should be able to get 1 yard.
You mentioned that when we were walking on the field. These are not small guys at Florida A&M. They are almost 300 across the board on the O-line. Handoff to Franklin, and he is gobbled up at the 6-yard line. Nowhere to go for him.
And I don't know if I like the play call. Once again, you're going east and west. I think you try and do a jump ball with one of those big tight ends on the outside, maybe Jeremiah Pruitt or Carter Johnson, to give your guy an opportunity to go up and get it. Use that big body to box out those guys like you're playing basketball. I just don't like going east and west, but at the same time, they've got to get points, and I do like the decision to try and get to 3 right here. You've got to get some points on the board and let that offense feel good about that drive.
From the left hash, a 22-yarder for Cameron Gillis. Trey Wilhoit is the holder. Snap is good, hold is down, kick is up and through, and Florida A&M is on the board late in this first quarter. An impressive response for Daniel Richardson, a veteran quarterback. He has thrown for a lot of yards at the FBS level, and he's going to do it this year for Florida A&M.
Well, one of the things I think about this Florida A&M offense is they have the ability to move the football. They know that now. They know they can do that. They've got to continue to protect Richardson, give him time. And I think when he escapes the pocket is when he's most dangerous, because he has, really good accuracy when he's outside the pocket. He does a good job of going through his progressions and finding receivers. And the receivers do a good job of coming back and getting themselves open and giving him a target down the field. So I like what I see from him so far. They just need to continue to push that button. 7 is better than 3, but 3 is better than nothing. And I think right now they know they can move the ball. The question will be, when they get the ball back, will they continue to use the offensive scheme that they used on this drive? Will they continue to sprint him outside the pocket? Or what adjustments will Miami make? Will they bring more pressure? Will they try to keep contained? Because I think that's one of the things they lost on that last drive. They lost contain on the outside. And that comes with being exuberant and trying to get the quarterback down as opposed to playing assignment football.
Cameron Gillis sends it into the end zone for a touchback. Miami takes over at the 25. What can Cam Ward not do?
Well, you talked about last week, he threw it against his body. This week, he's just comfortable back there finding receivers, going through his progressions. He has no pressure whatsoever. He's throwing strikes to the sideline from across the field. Then he gets the ball to his tight ends, the big tight end getting down the field. And then right here, Restrepo, you can't leave that guy open. He's the best receiver, the most dangerous offensive player outside of Cam on this team. You've got to have 2 eyes on him at all times.
Ward 6 for 6 today, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. And they take over 1st and 10 at their own 25. Handoff to the big back, who slips down at the 26. That was Mark Fletcher in that time. And let's go down to Maryland.
As heralded as Cam Ward is for being spirited, lively, and loud, today he's been calm, cool, and collected to this point alongside Coach Shannon Dawson's help before the last scoring drive, which started almost back in the Canes' own end zone. He was the first one to rally up his team even before the penalty announced, ready to draw up the next play.
He has looked really locked in to start this season. That pass just behind, right on cue to Isaiah Horton, incomplete. But that was one thing that Mario Cristobal said about Cam Ward. He's not interested in individual stuff. He just wants to win.
He said the whole team, they're not into social media. They're into building this program, and their goal is to make Hard Rock a hard place to play. And I love what they're doing in the spirit that they've come into this ball game with, and that's attention to detail. 3rd and long here for Miami. 2 for 2 on 3rd down today. Ward, plenty of time. Again, the seam, and it's Restrepo. Big play down to the 41-yard line, 1st down. And what's interesting about that is this defense came into this game understanding Restrepo was the biggest talent and target for Cam, and they continue to give him free rein.
Miami out there 1st and 10 after the big connection with Restrepo from Ward. Fletcher the back, play action pass, and Ward has all day long. Now rolling to his right, still calmly looking, hit as he throws and delivers a strike to Isaiah Horton.
And a good job by Ward keeping his eyes down the field. I know the coaching staff don't like the hit that he took on that play, and Ward knew he was going to get hit because he saw the pressure coming in his face, but a good job delivering a strike down the field once again. Both of these quarterbacks do a really good job of keeping their eyes down the field. Ward, to me, does an excellent job of going through his progressions and knowing where he wants to go with the football. He's reading the defense as well.
Horton come all the way across the field to make that catch. Ward now 8 for 9, $181 and 2 touchdowns. Fletcher fighting for space, and let's check in with Maryland.
Isaiah Horton, the receiving end of what Xavier Restrepo says is the biggest way you can tell just how improved Miami's offensive line is this year. X said, look, here's all I can say. It is so easy, the easiest it's ever been for me to take my time running the right route. He said, I got 3 or 4 seconds of holding time before the ball drops exactly where it's supposed to be. That's how good this O-line is.
And they were great last year, but it's a deep group. We already talked about Bell and McCoy on the left side filling in, who didn't start last week. Fighting for extra yardage on the far side, gets to the 9-yard line on the play. Chris Johnson Jr. You got to be loving what you're seeing from this Miami offensive line.
Absolutely. They're getting pushed at the point of attack. They're firing off the football. They're playing with flat backs. And that's all you can ask for from your offensive line.
3rd and 5 at the 9-yard line. The redshirt freshman Johnson stays in the backfield. Ward dumps it out to Johnson in space to the pylon, touchdown. Ward's thrown 3 to 3 different Miami Hurricanes.
And you know what that shows is his intelligence in understanding this offense and understanding defensive concepts. He knew exactly where he wanted to go with the football as soon as the ball was snapped. He knew where the pressure was coming from. He knew where his receiver was going to be. He did not wait to allow him to get into the flat. He delivered the ball early because he knew there would be no defender. And once his guy got his hands on the football, nobody was going to get to him before he got to the pylon.
Andy Borregales for the extra point. It is good, and that makes it 22 to 3. Last week, Cam Ward completed passes to 10 different players. 6 of them had receptions of more than 20 yards. He is back in his bag this week, this time to Chris Johnson. 22-3. Cam Ward has thrown 3 touchdowns to 3 different players so far, and this offense is just rolling out of the gates this season.
Well, he continues to have an understanding of where he wants to go with the football. He's continuing to gel with this offense, and that is the scary thing about Cam Ward. This is just his second game with this offensive line and with his skilled position players. As he continues to learn these guys and learns the nuances of how they want the ball, where they want the ball, their route running, this offense is going to continue to thrive. And when you look at the young fella, big Markel Bell, and I got to give him love. I want to give love to my big fella, 6'9", 340 on that left tackle. He's doing a really good job on the outside, getting his body in between those defenders.
Take us through that last touchdown pass we saw from Ward.
Well, once again, watch Cam. He knows he's got 2 tight ends on the outside, and he knows that's going to occupy those safeties. And then he sees Eric Horn, number 5, come down, so he knows he has nobody on the outside to cover that back. And when he gets the ball to the back, it's a race to the pylon, and he's going to win that race every time. But once again, that's an understanding of what the defense is showing you. He knows those safeties have to follow those tight ends, and he knows his back leaking out is going to be wide open as he sees that blitz come from Eric Horn on the outside.
Interesting stat from the first quarter. The time of possession was actually heavily in the favor of Florida A&M. 10 minutes with the ball, but just the 3 points as Kelvin Dean plunges forward back to the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go for Dean on that first down run.
Well, that kind of is reflective of all the explosive plays we've seen from Miami. They're going down the field with the vertical pass game. They're finding receivers in the seam. So they're just, really doing what they want to do right now.
The Rattlers have forced Miami into a few tough third down situations, but Ward and company haven't blinked yet. And now 2nd and 10 for Richardson.
And I still think you need to sprint Richardson outside the pocket, allow those receivers to get into their routes.
Little toss play here. Dean looking for space. He has gobbled up a 2-yard loss on the play. Ahmad Moten in on the stop. Raul Aguirre and Malik Bryant there as well.
And you see Miami changing up personnel. Now they're going to bring that pass rush personnel into the football game. Florida A&M has to do a good job of identifying their man. Now, what Miami has done in the past is walk everybody up on the line of scrimmage. They've got guys standing up. They've got guys in each gap. And what that is to try to confuse those offensive linemen. So the center has to make his mic call. Once he makes that mic call, then the rest of the line can identify what their assignment is.
Florida A&M 0 for 3 on 3rd down today. Richardson, quick pass on a little tunnel screen. Gassett has space, trying to bounce it outside, but he's dragged down by Zaquan Patterson. And that's that Miami speed on defense being shown off right there.
And you said it, he had an area to get up the field, but because of Patterson's speed, he was able to get to him and wrap him up before he was able to get going, because it looked like he was getting ready to get that first down.
Will Hoyt back out to punt with Ray Joseph deep to return. Another big-time punt from Will Hoyt. Joseph fields it at the 22 and heads across field. Now trying to cut it up between the hashes where he's tackled at the 36-yard line. Miami up 5 spots in the top 25 this week for us. It's kind of been a chaotic day of football. Texas with the big win earlier. How about Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois?
Well, that Northern Illinois ball club is a really good ball club out of the MAC. Thomas Hammock, a Northern Illinois alum, has continued to build that program in a huge win going into South Bend. Their neighbor, it's not that far, so some of those kids probably know one another, and that's a big win, not only for Northern Illinois, but for the MAC conference, for the little guys.
12-team playoff or not, pressure's on Notre Dame now from here on out after a loss like that. If they want to be playing at the end of the season, as Martinez makes a couple miss and shoots forward to the 44-yard line. It's about 7 yards on first down.
And Martinez, another one of those big Miami backs in the mode of Larry Jones, Steve McGuire, Willis McGahee, Donnell Bennett, James Stewart, O.J. Anderson. They're known for having these big, powerful backs that run over people and get in the open field and can take it to the house.
2nd and 3, Ward, quick little sidearm pass. We saw all those angles against Florida last week. Sam Brown gets the first down beyond midfield. Are we seeing more of that now with the quarterbacks and the arm angles and everything?
Yeah, but you have to be a special quarterback. Everybody can't do the Mahomes. But Cam Ward, he can do a little bit of everything. He can do the sidearm. You know, he's thrown the ball back across his body last week. I saw him do some things that regular quarterbacks just can't do, and that's what makes him special.
Handoff up the middle. Martinez just pushing the pile, driving those big legs. He might have a first down on this play. He's going to be close. I think the first contact was made around the 41.
And this is Hurricanes football. This is what you expect from those big backs.
And they're going to go quickly here. 2nd and less than a yard. Ward again hands to Martinez, who just dances and waits before he finds his path to the first down.
And just that play alone, that's only a 3-yard gain. But the fact that you can have a young man at 6 feet, 235 pounds, be able to jump cut and stop like that and then get going forward, that lets you know the versatility of this young man.
Moves the chains again. 1st and 10 now at the 33-yard line. Brown in motion to the slot to the right of Ward. Ward fires over to the right side of the field. Nice grab along the sideline by Isaiah Horton. And you can move him again.
And right now, Ward is just getting anything he wants. He has all the time in the world. He's going through all of his progressions. And the receiver does a good job of sitting down and giving him a target to throw to.
8 different players have caught the football. 4 have at least 2 catches. 1st and 10 now at the 16-yard line. Johnson in motion. They'll throw it out to Johnson. Low throw, and actually might have been better if it was incomplete. Might have been a backwards pass anyway, but he'll lose about 5 yards on the play.
Yeah, the pass was behind the line of scrimmage, so it was a good job of him covering that up because that was a live football.
You got better eyes than I do, apparently.
It's the glasses.
Well, puts Cam Ward and company in a little bit of a testing situation. 2nd and 15. Restrepo and Horton at the bottom of your screen. Takes the handoff to Martinez. Ward looking, and he's going to take off to run for the first time today. Dives forward beyond the original line of scrimmage. Nayron Jenkins was there to stop him.
And a good job by the defender staying on the receivers. Even as Cam planted that foot and got north and south, they did not react to that and go towards him. You have to stay on top of those receivers because of his ability to dump the ball over them and get it to Restrepo on the outside. So a good job making the tackle.
Third down and 7 after they got 8 on 2nd and long. Handoff to Martinez this time. Stopped at the 11 and falls forward to the 10, or he'll be about 3 yards shy of a first down. James Ash, one of those defensive tackles, helping plug that hole.
And Ash is one of the players that the Miami coaches identified. They said that is the guy of all the guys on the defense that we have to know where he is, and we've got to get a hat on the hat because he's a powerful defender and he tosses offensive linemen around.
Said he has a really fast first step, disruptive in the interior of that defensive line.
Timeout. Florida A&M, their 2nd timeout of the half.
James Colsey didn't like something about the way they lined up. 4th down when we come back.
A different Hurricane has caught every touchdown pass so far as Miami leads Florida A&M 22-3. The heavy hand on this drive, running back Damian Martinez, who said that it's the importance of hyping up every other skill position on the field, not just all the running backs, but he said wide receivers to tight ends to RBs. It's what makes this team differently. Function differently is the way that we support one another, even as all the guys who know we want to go score. But you see it so far on the field for the Canes today. They're hyping one another up, tight ends laughing at each other and at Xavier Restrepo along with Martinez as these guys come on and off the field and just kind of chirp at one another. That's what Shannon Dawson, too, has said is the attitude of this team.
And Dawson also said that, he's really big on ball distribution, and that's what Cam Ward has done these first 2 weeks. I think everybody's going to eat on this Miami offense the way things look. Martinez is the back. Ward barking out signals. 4th down at the 10-yard line. Ward claps his hands. Sitting in the pocket. Plenty of time. Now he's flushed. Spinning around, flag on the field. Ward rolling out, throwing back across his body, caught in the end zone. There is a flag, but Ward with an incredible play to find Isaiah Horton.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be a hold on the outside. I think number 70, the left tackle.
Holding. Offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
Markel Bell, who we talked about earlier, 6'9", 340-pound junior.
And one of the things that happens when the quarterback is in scramble mode, you see right there on the outside, you've got to sit down when you're getting pressure right there. You see him right there grabbing the inside of the shoulder pass, of the shoulder plate. But as a big fella, what you've got to do is you've got to sit down and you've got to duck walk that guy out of there. You've got to basically go into a run blocking mode at that point when your quarterback is scrambling behind you like that.
It was Alan Smith on the pressure, preseason all-SWAC second team. And now it's going to be about a 37-yarder for Andres Borregales. 2 for 3 in week 1, 3-time All-ACC kicker. Thought we were going to hear from John Noley for a second.
But that was a special play by Cam. Even though that was a holding penalty, you see the escapability, and once again, he knows where his receivers are.
Officials having a quick conversation here. James Colsey's out on the field right now.
It looked like he was talking to Cam after the play. Like, yeah, it was a special play, but too bad it doesn't count.
The previous play is under review for a completed pass.
I'm confused. If it's a hold, what does a completed pass mean at that point?
Replay official Paul Verna. 5:50 to go in the first half. Miami up 19 after jumping out to a 15-0 start. It's been a good response from Florida A&M. They have 2 come-from-behind victories already in the bag this season in weeks 1 and 2.
And they'll continue to fight. All right, let's see. I don't think he caught that. Did he catch it in bounds?
You know that toe that we saw the other night in that
Kansas City
game? There's a toe there. And this one not quite as meaningful.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. It'll be 4th down, Miami.
No change to the original ruling on the field. Borregales, who had to stand over this one for a while, will finally get an opportunity from 37 yards. .58 career makes. That's up and good. Make it 59 for Borregales, whose older brother Jose was the only National Kicker of the Year award winner back in 2020. It's a 22-point lead for Miami. 25-3, the home opener for the Hurricanes, going to plan so far. 5:46 to play in the first half for Mario Cristobal and his squad, trying to improve to 2-0 on the season. Year 3 for Mario. Back at his alma mater, he is energized. Does not shy away from the project that Miami was when he took over, but man, is it trending in the right direction. Origales set to kick this one away. Goldie Lawrence deep to return for the Rattlers. Lawrence fields it about 4 yards deep, and he takes it. A little bit of a hesitation there, and he's knocked out of bounds hard at the 13-yard line. Didn't quite commit to that right out of the gates. And now tough field position for Daniel Richardson and company. Here is James Colsey. It's year 1 of the James Colsey year. He was the interim head coach. They finally hired him back in January, replacing Willie Simmons, who left for Duke to be their running backs coach. He spent 6 years coaching the Rattlers, and Colsey told us, you know, it's a little bit different because this program was set. I mean, they just won a championship.
Well, I know him from way back. I was there at Florida State when he got there. We won a national championship together, and he stepped in when we lost one of our starter cornerbacks, Corey Fuller, as a true freshman, and played on that championship team and delivered. So he knows what it takes to be a champion. And I said it earlier, he played for Mickey Andrews, one of the best defensive coordinators in college football. And, you know, he brings that attitude to this team. They're going to continue to compete. They might not win this football game, but they will compete throughout the game. They won't stop, and they will look at this as an opportunity to get better. And I think what he brings to this team is stability. You lose a great coach like Coach Simmons, you've got to get somebody in here to keep this team together. And he's not only kept it together, but he's brought in additional talent.
12-1 last year. Their lone loss came to another FBS program, South Florida. Now behind the sticks, 2nd and long. Quick pass out wide, incomplete. The intended target was Quan Lee. Seeing the impact of some of these young Miami defensive linemen. The sack to start this drive was a true freshman, one of the highest recruits from their class this year, number 30 on the ESPN 300, Justin Scott. They've got talent in all classes here at Miami.
And the coaching staff talked about him being a surprise in camp early, coming in as a true freshman and providing the backup and the depth that he's provided. He's a big kid too, at 6'4", 298 pounds, out of the Chicago area. And Coach Cristobal talked about that, not only keeping local talent, but getting outside of the state of Florida and getting other talent to come to this program.
Richardson barely gets back out of the end zone, taken down by Tyler Barron, helping fill the void left by Reuben Bain Jr., who's out injured tonight.
And I still think you need to sprint Richardson outside of the pocket. Watch the pressure come right in his face. He's squeezed in the pocket because those tackles aren't doing a good job on the outside. They've got to keep the width of that pocket. When you've got pressure coming from the outside like that, you have to jump those defensive ends at times. You can't just kick back. You don't have a lot of room when your back is up against the goal line. So sometimes you just have to plant that foot and go get them.
Dangerous position here. Trey Wilhoit with his heels in the back of the end zone, and this was not one of his best. He's been really good today punting, but that is going to give Miami fantastic field position if the official on the far side ever stops running forward. Inside the 25, approaching the 20, and he stops at the 21-yard line. That's where Cam Ward and company take over with 4:04 to play in this first half. Just a 19-yard punt by Wilhoit. But here comes Ward. Two fantastic weeks. What is it about Ward in Florida with the C first initial? I think you know something about that.
Hey, he plays like that other Ward. Very calm, cool, and collected. And he knows where he wants to go with the football. Look at these numbers right now. 12 of 13, 219 yards. He's basically done everything that he wanted to do early in this football game.
Whether he likes individual accolades or not, he's not going to have much of a choice if he keeps playing like this. Just going to come with the territory. They start off the drive with a handoff to Damian Martinez, who gets about 8 yards on the play. Nayron Jenkins on the stop. And Miami next week, 3:30 Eastern on the ACC network. They will have Ball State, Maryland, Virginia. You already had Virginia this year. The ACC feeling like there's spots for the taking toward the top of the conference. Whistles before the snap, flags flying.
False start, offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
It's the left guard, Matt McCoy.
Well, you have to say right now that Miami is the front runner in the ACC with the loss by Georgia Tech today to Syracuse. And I've yet to see that Syracuse program, but they're making some noise. They've got a new coaching staff up there, and they've got some new energy. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare after that big win today against Georgia Tech.
They got Kyle McCord from Ohio State. He almost threw for 400 today. He had 285 in the first half. Ward again all day, and now finally flushed out a little bit. Lobs this one downfield and out of play in the direction of Sam Brown. Kendall Bowler was in coverage. Smith and Westmoreland.
There's no intentional grounding. Quarterback is out of the pocket, and the ball is thrown beyond the line of scrimmage.
Florida and Clemson picked ahead of Miami here. Both of them already with early losses. Clemson's was to Georgia, but it didn't look great in the second half of that game.
Yeah, they didn't, and of course Florida State, those two early losses. It is, you know, you just don't know coming into every season how a team is going to respond.
Timeout, Florida A&M. It's their final timeout of the half. It'll be 30 seconds.
I think with Florida State, you know, you lose 2 conference games early. You know, they lost 10 players last year to the draft. They lost every skill position, starter as a skill position from that offense. So they've got to regroup. I think Coach Norvell, this week off for them will allow them to regroup. But, you know, like Louis Riddick said last week during that game, there's got to be some soul searching on that team. And there may be some changes when they play next week. For Clemson, they're still in it. They lost to Georgia. That's not a conference football game. I know Coach Sweeney will have that team ready to play. NC State is making some noise, but Miami is the clear favorite. Everybody talked about Virginia Tech, but they had the opening loss to Vanderbilt. How does that affect that team moving forward? Not a conference loss again, but how does that loss affect their psyche? We saw the psyche of Florida State affected by the Georgia Tech loss. Let's see what these other ball clubs do as they progress through the ACC.
It's part of what we love about the 12-team playoff. Hey, it's okay. You lost an early season game. You might have to be really good the rest of the way, but there's still a chance. 3rd and 8 for Ward. Quick pass out to Brown, trying to dance around his lineman. Almost breaks free, but he's dragged down and then pushed out at the end. Alan Smith Jr. was the first one to get to him and then had help to bring him down on the sideline.
And a good job by the FAMU defenders. You don't necessarily have to make the tackle, but if you slow the ball carrier down, you allow Pursuit to get there. And the Pursuit did a good job of getting him down, not allowing him to get north and south and get positive yards.
4th and 5. Ward and company stay on the field. 2:30 and ticking, approaching that 2-minute timeout. Martinez the back. Restrepo number 7 in the slot at the top of your screen. He's his top receiver and one of the best in the country. Ward looking that direction, now to his right. All day long, throwing and almost taken away. It's still going to be a turnover on downs. Jaron Fox on the coverage, transfer from Mississippi Valley State. Nice defense by the Rattlers.
And that's one of the toughest routes to cover, those crossing routes. Good job by Fox identifying where he wanted to go with the football. You see him right there sitting on it. He sees the receiver come by him and he sits down and he's able to move right into the path of the football. That is what you have to do. You've got to sit down by the linebacker. He sat down, he watched the quarterback's eyes, he saw the receiver set, and then try to get over into that area where the quarterback wanted to deliver the football, and he was able to get his hand in there and knock it down. Great job by the defense to get off the field and get the ball back to their offense.
Overall, Florida A&M played a pretty good game so far. It's been the big plays by this Miami offense.
Oh, they're going to continue. Like I said, they will compete throughout. That's in the DNA of Coach Colsey.
Miami will get the second half kickoff, so this is a very important drive here for Richardson and company. Throwing it out into the flats. 2 Hurricanes on the chase. Besaint made the stop there. Kelvin Dean on the reception. We have reached the 2-minute timeout here in Miami Gardens. What a beautiful city.
This is the 2-minute timeout. Timeout.
Florida A&M has its last chance now before halftime to score a touchdown, and James Colsey's team is trying to light a fire under itself. He and his staff members telling their offense, go make positive plays. We need better blocks. We have to have smarter reads on our lanes, and we have to play with higher energy. In particular, at the quarterback position, they really doubled down, trying to get Daniel Richardson to read his rush lanes better on this drive here to capitalize before the break.
And right now, flag on the field. Exactly what they did not want.
And I'm wondering if this is going to be against the defense for simulating the snap count.
Signals, defense, number 1. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Kiko Maui-Noa.
The officials are taking a deep look at this, and they're calling that this season. You cannot simulate the snap count. So that's a good job by the officials and a good job by the Florida A&M offensive linemen.
And a lot of times what you see with that, when we were told, is the clapping from the defenders to try to get the offense to bite, thinking it is the quarterback. Second and short now for Richardson. Miami showing pressure, now backing off.
And it looks like they're bringing 6.
Porter creeping up there from his nickel position. Out toward the flats, caught and immediately bottled up there. Maui-Noa. They do get the first down on the completion to Quan Lee.
And usually on a play like that, the receiver is able to get back inside of the linebacker. But you see Maui-Noa in his athletic ability able to turn and grab that receiver and get him down. And they talked about him being not only the vocal leader of this ball club, but a playmaker. And you see his ability to eliminate the possibility of a big play.
The Maui-Noa brothers, a big part of this Miami team, Kiko and CC. ACC the right tackle. First down for Richardson, bumped, and it was really no contact from Tyler Barron, but he just drove the right tackle back into Richardson.
And you've got to do a better job. Watch the right tackle. You can't keep it. You've got to stop at some point, and you've got to be strong, and you've got to punch. You've got to sit down. When you're up high like that, you're giving up inside hands. You see, he doesn't have any leverage. The defender has all of the leverage. Tyler Barron, he got inside hands on that offensive tackle. You've got to sit down in your stance. You've got to punch. And I said it earlier, sometimes as opposed to kick stepping back, you've got to take a drop step and go out and hit somebody in the mouth and let them know that you're there. You can't always accept the contact. You got to go out and give it out sometimes. And I think that's what these offensive tackles for Florida A&M have to do right now. They're accepting too much contact. Go out and give it a little bit and make those defensive ends think a little bit. Right now they're coming up and they're not thinking about you attacking them. They're thinking about being on the attack. Well, hit them in the mouth. You know what Mike Tyson said? Everybody's got a plan till you get hit in the mouth. Well, you got to hit somebody in the mouth. You can't just continue to accept that and allow your quarterback to get taken down.
Best Miami defensive lineman you ever faced?
Warren Sapp, hands down. Quickest first step I've ever seen from a 3 technique in my life. And I played against some great ones and played with some great ones at Florida State. But Warren Sapp, hands down.
And they have had some great ones here over the years. Richardson second and long under pressure, pass tipped, caught by his offensive lineman who dives down near the 25, flag thrown on the far side. It was caught by Ashton Grable, who's a preseason all-conference first-teamer.
And that shouldn't be a flag because the ball was tipped. But big fella, you got to get high knees when you get that opportunity. Come on, man. I wish I had that with these bad knees, I don't know. But you got to get high knees on that, man. But the ball is definitely tipped.
There's no foul for illegal touching. The ball was touched by the defense.
At the very least, give him credit. Soft hands.
Yeah, but I got to get some high stepping in there. Come on, that is a dream.
Timeout, Miami. Their second timeout of the half. It'll be 30 seconds.
But Ashton Grable did a great job of getting that football, squeezing it, and getting positive yards. You know, but as I said, as a big guy, your dream is to either carry the football or catch a ball that's been tipped. And, you know, I wanted to see some high knees on that play, man.
Grable's brother, Tylen, was a 6th-round pick by the Buffalo Bills this year. Played a year with him at Jacksonville State. James Colsey, some thinking to do as we tick toward halftime, 1:19 to play. Miami up 5 spots in the top 25 to number 12 this week. Be curious how things shake up with some of the losses in that top 10, where Miami goes to if they do hold on to win this game. Their last loss in a home opener was 2006 against Florida State. It's 16-0 in home openers here at Hard Rock Stadium.
And what Coach Cristobal is trying to do is recreate what the Orange Bowl was, one of the most difficult places to play and win a football game. That is the culture they're looking for here at Hard Rock Stadium.
3rd and 10 after the completion to Grable, the offensive lineman. Richardson does have time this time. Little crossing pattern here, a first down. Ball comes out, but it does go out of bounds. Jamari Gassett on the catch, has had a couple big ones today, tracked down by Jadis Richard.
And you see Richardson does a good job. When he has time in the pocket, he knows where to go with the football. You see the crossing route right there. He's able to get Gassett in on the move. And that's one of the most difficult routes to cover as a safety, as a linebacker, because you're always in trail mode.
Just ticked under a minute to play in the first half. Richardson on the move. Again, over the middle this time. Pushing to the 43-yard line on the catch. Tackled by Maui Noah. It was Gassett again on the grab. 2nd down.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 8. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
This is what Miami didn't have against Florida last week. Mario Cristobal was thrilled about it, but we've seen it twice now today.
Well, what's happening is Miami's getting pressure, but Richardson continues to fade back, and that was just unnecessary. I don't think it was egregious, but what they're trying to protect the quarterback. I think you let that go. It is football. I mean, he didn't put his head down. He didn't over-aggressively knock him down and send him flying across the field. It just, Josh Horton just kind of put a little hands on him and let him know, hey, I'm here. You know, I want to touch you a little bit, but I don't know if you make that call.
Well, now inside the 45 of Miami, 44 seconds left. Florida A&M does not have any timeouts, though. Richardson scrambling, throwing downfield. Good coverage on the far sideline by O.J. Frederic Jr., freshman from Fort Lauderdale.
And dangerous throw by Richardson. I didn't think he had a lot over there. That was covered up on the outside by the defender. You know, he put the ball up where maybe it would be in a position where only his guy can make a play on it, but I thought he was too close to the sideline. The defender did a good job of using the sideline to his advantage and pushing that receiver where he was going to be out of bounds if he was able to make that reception.
Well, Frederic just a 3-star recruit, and based on everything else they've got, that's a low number for them, but they love this kid out at corner, and he's going to have a chance to make a big impact this season. Pressure coming for Richardson, stepping up. He can move, lowers the shoulder, and gets down to the 35-yard line, but that clock is ticking right now, under 28 seconds. A big meeting there with Jaden Harris, and it brings up 3rd down and 3. Under 20 seconds. Richardson trying to get everybody set. Dropping back, throwing, and what a catch! Unbelievable, but the ball comes out, and it does go out of bounds. It's Carter Johnson plucking that out of the sky.
And that is what the coaching staff talked about, those dangerous tight ends on the outside. Watch him go up in one hand, this snatches it. Almost looked like Travis Kelce the way he caught that football. And the Miami defender is trying to scoop it up. Just cover the ball up, De'Yani Hill. You got to jump on top of that. He's trying to scoop it up.
Timeout, Miami.
When the ball went out of bounds, so Florida A&M was actually going to have to clock that ball if Miami didn't just call a timeout. Clock stops under 2 minutes on 1st downs until the ball is set.
And look how he reaches up across his body, twists, jumps over the defender. But right here, you've got to jump on top of that. You can't try and scoop it up, De'Yani Hill. But what a catch. And he knows he's got a defender coming behind him. And he goes up and gives his body up to make that catch.
I think that's what might be most impressive. I mean, you know that safety ski, you can get smoked.
But that's why the Miami coaching staff talked about those tight ends, Pruitt, Gross, and Johnson.
It's Gillis, the Hungary native. 1 for 1 today was a 22-yarder. This one from 36, and the left hash. 11 for 14 on the season last year. Career long of 44. Kick is up, and it is good. And what a drive to finish the half by Florida A&M.
You need to play football. Everybody puts their pants on the same way. Everybody works out with the same type of weights. You got to go out here and show and prove.
Michael Smith booms it away deep into the end zone. It's a touchback, and we check in with Maryland for the first time this second half.
The Hurricanes are on top, but Mario Cristobal is pretty disappointed in his team. He said, we are PO'd, and I'm editing that, and we should be. I put a lot of our reserves in, and they did not uphold our standard. He said even his starters, after the first couple of drives, did not execute at the level of expectation that this program has around itself. He said, I'm going to continue to put our reserves out there, and they are going to get it done, and they're going to get it done the right way. James Colsey, meanwhile, he's okay with where his team is at. He says it's only a 19-point deficit. A lot of people expected us to not even be that close. We just got to go out and turn 3 into 7 next time.
Yeah, they've been close on a couple of occasions as Restrepo gets his first grab of the game, but are you surprised to hear that from Maryland? Mario Cristobal a little fired up there at halftime.
Absolutely not surprised, because that is the level that he's trying to get this program back to. You know, you have to continue to be playing on all cylinders if you want to compete for a championship. You can't get complacent and get happy and get satisfied.
Ward throwing against that sidearm throw and kind of looks off the defender. Shifty move by Jacoby George. They have their first down of this second half near the 40-yard line. I appreciate Maryland editing that too, you know, just professional right there. They do mark the ball at the 40. Ward, handoff up the middle for Fletcher, who has space across the U at midfield and down inside the 40. Big Mark Fletcher, 6'2", 225 sophomore.
Watch number 7, the big fella, Markel Bell on the outside. That is what you do. Cover up. Get in front of him. Just sit down. Just sit down a little bit more, big fella, but a good job giving the lane for Fletcher to get up the field.
23 yards for Fletcher. That two-headed monster of him and Martinez, a big problem in this game. George breaks a tackle inside the 25 and pushing down to the 20.
And Kendall Bowler has to make that tackle on the outside. And when you're going to make that tackle, if you're Kendall Bowler, you've got to get outside leverage, because pursuit is coming from the inside. You can't take an inside angle, because if you don't make the tackle, now the back or the receiver has a lane to get up the field.
1st and 10 at the 19-yard line. Fletcher still in the backfield with Ward. 2 tight end set. Ward, quick throw on an out pattern to Restrepo. Has a blocker in his receiver, gets outside 5-yard line and delivers the boom inside the 5.
And an awesome job by number 7, Samuel Brown, on the outside with the lead block, allowing Restrepo to continue to get up the field. Watch number 11.
Not on the field for injury.
It's Andre Powell, and he was the one on the wrong side of this by Restrepo.
And you can't just put your shoulder down when you've got somebody coming full speed. You've got to go down and try and wrap up. I hope he's going to be okay. But that was 7 on 7, and the 7 from Miami won.
Hate to see this for Powell. Leads the team in tackles entering the night. It matched a career high from last year. He's stepping in to a new role this season on a defense that was among the best. It was the best in the SWAC last year.
And he's one of their better back-end defenders. So we hope he's going to be okay.
Native of Naples, Florida. Hate to see this along the sideline as they continue to tend to Andre Powell Jr.
And it looks like they're checking the stability of his knee, something you don't want to see.
Well, good to see him up and moving, at least under his own power.
Excellent.
Xavier Restrepo, 4 catches, a $104 and a touchdown, 7th career 100-yard game.
Yeah, measly 26 yards a catch. Not too bad. Not too shabby.
They've got single-digit players left from the Manny Diaz era. He is one of them. Ward play action, hit from behind, but throwing wide open beyond the reach of Restrepo.
And he was almost too wide open. That was a rub route. And you saw the FAMU defenders get lost. And it looked like maybe one of the FAMU defenders got in the way of Cam, and he had to get the ball over his hands. But you see the rub route right there. Great route. And you see the FAMU defenders get caught up with that rub route. Good job by Miami. Just couldn't get the ball to Restrepo.
Davion Westmoreland pressuring Ward on that play. 2nd and goal, handoff Fletcher, and touchdown. Miami extends their lead, 31-6, the Hurricanes on top.
And you see the offensive line, good push at the point of attack, getting up to those second-level defenders, and that's all you ask for from your offensive line when you're inside the 5-yard line. Give the back somewhere to go with the football. Mark Fletcher, 6'2", 225 pounds, followed his big guys up, and you see once he gets going, he's one of those fall forward backs. He's going to get those positive yards and get to the end zone.
Fletcher and Martinez have combined for 11 carries, 78 yards, and the touchdown. Extra point from Borregales is good. 32-6, just the start Miami wanted, and it's the power of these running backs. Martinez, and then this time it's Mark Fletcher into the end zone. Mark Fletcher's third touchdown of the season. He had 5 last year as a true freshman, and it's a great combo with the Oregon State transfer Damian Martinez, almost to 100 total yards combined today, but it's the yards per touch for them that has been fantastic.
Well, they are people movers. They are people that go into crowded places, get hit from all angles, and they stay upright. And then once again, when they get out in the open field, they have the speed to take it to the house. So that's the versatility that this Miami offensive backfield brings to the table every week.
Kick toward Goldie Lawrence, who lets it go into the end zone for a touchback. 1st and 10 from the 25 for Daniel Richardson and this Florida A&M offense. What did you make of Richardson's first half?
I thought he did as well as he possibly could have with the pressure that he saw on his face. I think they need to, once again, go back to that sprinting him, getting him outside the pocket. But also, I think the offensive tackles for Florida A&M have to accept the challenge. They've got to be more stout. They've got to be more aggressive on the edge. They got to go out and hit somebody, punch somebody in the mouth. You can't just stand there and continue to accept and engulf contact. You've got to go out and dish out that contact. Let those ends know that you're there. You got to get into a hand fight out there on the outside.
Back-to-back HBCU National Player of the Week awards for Daniel Richardson. He's going to be hit from behind and dropped. Elijah Alston tracking him down, the transfer from Marshall, who spent 5 years there.
And that is a horrible job by the offensive tackle on the outside. He just let him go. He just olayed I would rather you get a holding penalty as opposed to allowing the defensive end just to make an inside move and watch him. The worst thing for a quarterback is looking at the front of your offensive lineman's jersey. Davis, you got to do a better job, big guy. Get your body in front of that defensive end. Give your body up. If you can't get him, grab him, take the penalty. But don't let your quarterback get hit like that.
They just walked Kobe Gross, one of the tight ends, off the field a little bit tenderly. Handoff up the middle and runs into 3 Hurricanes right at the line of scrimmage. That's Thad Franklin on the carry. This Miami defense so far, the 1 interception on the opening drive, 4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss.
Well, they're getting up the field. They're getting what they want defensively. On the outside, they're dominating on the edges. And that's all you can ask for from your defense.
3rd and 15. Empty backfield for Richardson. 3-man rush and still under pressure. Oh, he is dragged down. The long arm of Tyler Barron gets to him. A filthy move.
And you see what Miami did. They showed 5. They dropped 8 back into coverage. They had 3, so you've got 5 to block 3. So you've got to be able to decipher. The center for Florida A&M just turned his back on that defender. There's no one to the outside. There was no reason for you to turn to the outside. You've got a guard and a tackle to the right of you. They can take care of that man to the outside. You've got to help your guard with that inside man. The closest man to the quarterback is the most dangerous man, and that is who you need to block.
That was almost blocked. A much better punt after the last one went for just 19. Fielded way back by Ray Joseph. Breaks the tackle, spins, and just nowhere to go. Gets to the 27-yard line. Miami's defense turning up the heat. 5 sacks as a team, 3 of them for Barron. Talked about it earlier. Cam Ward did not start on the big stage. He started as an unranked recruit out of Columbia High School. He's from West Columbia, Texas, at Incarnate Word for 2 years to begin his career. Southland Conference Player of the Year as a sophomore, then to Washington State. Almost 7,000 yards in the last 2 seasons, and then to one of the biggest stages in college football here in Miami Gardens, Florida.
Well, Eric Morris was smart. He was the head coach at Incarnate Word, and he took the offensive coordinator position at Washington State. And what was the first thing that he did? He brought his star quarterback with him, and the world was introduced to Cam Ward, and now Everybody understands what this young man has the ability to do.
First quarterback to throw for more than 303 touchdowns in their Miami debut since at least 1979. Fletcher remains the back. Quick throw out wide to George, and they get about 13 or 14 yards. Isaiah Horton on the catch for a first down. Let's go down to Maryland with an injury update.
Florida A&M rover Andre Powell Jr. will not return for the Rattlers. He injured his right knee at the end of Miami's last scoring drive. His knee is now taped. He has been seated on the bench by the training staff.
And that's a big one for them, not just in this game, Forrest, but just moving forward for a team who has big aspirations again this season.
Well, one of the positive things is he was able to put pressure on that leg and able to walk off and get to the sideline. So we just got to hope that it's not anything serious. Maybe it's just a soft tissue issue, something that can heal with time, as opposed to any additional rehab or surgery or something like that.
1st and 10 at the Rattlers' 48-yard line for Cam Ward. Lofton in motion. Ward rolling under pressure. Now is trying to settle down and fire deep on the run for Restrepo. Adjust his body but couldn't haul it in. Flag on the play.
I don't know about that flag. They were both fighting for the football. I wonder if they're going to pick this up. I thought they were both fighting for the football.
Simeon Hines was in coverage, the junior from Davie, Florida. Still sorting things out. Restrepo was tapping his chest on the way back to Ward, saying, "That's my bad, I got to catch that ball." See what John Noli and company came up with.
There are 2 fouls, both on the defense. Personal foul, number 5. That penalty's declined. Pass interference, number 32. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Said 32, but I think he means Simeon Hines, who's number 15. Eric Horn was the other culprit on the play.
I think if he turns around to look for the football, they don't make that call on number 15, Simeon Hines. I thought he turned around. He didn't turn around until the end of the play when the ball got there. But if he was turned around as they were both fighting to get down the field, I don't know if they make that call. But that is a good call by the officials.
Martinez back in the backfield. 1st and 10 at the 33. 284 and 3 scores for Ward in the air. Handoff to Martinez. Uses the stiff arm. Breaks away. 10-5. Touchdown. Damian Martinez getting in on the action. 33 yards on the ground.
And we just talked about it, how these guys run into small spaces, and when they get out into the open field, after they bounce off of defenders, they have the speed to take it to the house. You see him bounce off of the defender, bounce off the linebacker, and then he's got the speed to get to the outside and get to the end zone. Good job by Martinez, finding the hole, breaking the tackle, and getting in for the touchdown.
Borregales for the extra point. Splits the uprights. And now Miami starting to run away from it. 14-0 here in the 3rd quarter. And it's Damian Martinez. He saw Fletcher got one, said, "I'm going to need one of those too." Cam Ward having a monster night, 284, 3 scores, 104 and a touchdown to Restrepo. And then Damian Martinez and Mark Fletcher starting to get it going on the ground. Miami ran for 12 carries, 45 yards at halftime, 4 for 72 on the ground in this quarter. I think what's scary for us is the fact that the guys next to Cam Ward, there's probably 8 or 9 other guys that you could list here throughout the season that are going to have big games.
Well, this is the Miami ball club that last year between the guards averaged 130 yards a game, 17 touchdowns. They lose a guard and a center to the NFL, both on active rosters, and they're still able to run the ball in the middle of that offensive line. So that lets you know the development is continuous with this Miami offensive front.
Defense not too bad either tonight.
Well, they have had pressure all night long. Richardson has been running for his life. When he releases the football, he's getting knocked down. They're snatching the ball out of the air. Backs are trying to get to the edge, but Miami's getting up the field. And then you've got an offensive tackle just being pushed back into the quarterback. I mean, come on, man. And then right here, Tyler Barron, number 9. He's been wreaking havoc all afternoon on Richardson. Nobody can block this young man on the outside.
New quarterback in for Florida A&M. It's Junior Muratovic, his 4th year for the Rattlers. He's from Orlando, Florida, redshirt junior. Handoff on the first play. Nice move here from Dean. Breaks a tackle across midfield and pushed out at the 47. That's Kelvin Dean.
And you see a good job by the guard and tackle pulling around. And you see Dean able to have a jump cut. He saw the scene. He did not follow them all the way around. He was able to get up the field. Positive yards by this Florida A&M offensive front, offensive line. Great job of blocking. Good job of finding a hole by Dean and getting north and south. But a poor job by the Miami defenders with the extracurricular activity after the play. You cannot do that when you give up a big play. You cannot show that frustration.
Personal foul, defense number 99. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic, first down.
There was a Florida A&M offensive lineman and a defensive lineman from Miami that were tangled up. They got into it. They were able to get up, but then another Miami defensive lineman running up comes up and knocks that FAMU offensive player down off of his feet. You've got to control your emotion. You cannot allow yourself to do that. You only hurt your ball club when you make that type of play.
Ends up as a 44-yard gain between the 29-yard rush, 15-yard penalty, and it puts FAMU on the plus side of the rush yards at 19 for the game now. Muratovic has plenty of time, throwing deep, and just overthrows his intended target.
Now watch on the bottom of your screen. You're going to see those two guys get into it. The Florida A&M guy kind of hip tosses him, and he hip tosses the Florida A&M player back, so they're fine. But you cannot run up and do that. The officials were going to let it go. It's just aggression by both players. But then the Miami player comes up with the extracurricular knockdown. You just can't do that. He's probably looking at some stadiums on Monday for discipline.
You don't have any experience with that, do you?
Yeah, unfortunately.
2nd and 10 at the Miami 31. Handoff to Dean again, and he's starting to chew up some yards here. Slips down, but still got about 4 on the carry. Sets up 3rd and manageable.
And Miami starters are still in the football game. So this is not against 2nd or 3rd teamers or backups.
Muratovic wanted to go quickly. Pressure coming. Gets it out to Bassett in the flats. Cuts upfield, and he is driven backwards. Hit hard by Raul Aguirre.
And if you see on this play, Aguirre is just waiting. He sees the play developing, and good job of breaking down, getting to the ball carrier, putting the shoulder pad on the shoulder pad, and bringing the heat. That is exactly what you want your linebackers to do.
Aguirre, primarily a special teams guy last year, just 6 total tackles. Seeing some extended time here in week 2. 4th and 6th, and the kicking unit is out. A 44-yarder.
Timeout, Florida A&M. Their first timeout of the half. It'll be 30 seconds.
James Colsey taking a timeout as they try to add their third field goal of the game from Cameron Gillis. Good opportunity here for Maritovic as well against this Miami team who gonna be feeling really good going into week 3, the way this is going. And year 3 for Mario Cristobal. There's some moves around the conference though, and how about the big one? Boston College, and I hate to bring this up, but week 2, Bill O'Brien picking up a big win over Florida State.
Well, Bill O'Brien is a huge pickup. Manny Diaz at Duke is a huge pickup as well. We know what he does defensively. He took Coach Willie Simmons from Florida A&M to be his running backs coach. And I think, they're going to continue to build that program. And a huge win today by Fran Brown with that Syracuse ball club beating a Georgia Tech team that, seemed to be one of the hottest teams, not only in the ACC, but in the country. They were able to beat those guys. So you're seeing some movement by some of these coaches that have moved into these new positions.
They talked about it on the broadcast today, but for Fran Brown, he got some dudes to go to Syracuse. Kyle McCord's slinging. He's got some weapons, too.
Absolutely. And they will be a problem. Great job by John Wildhack, the athletic director up there, getting the right talent up there to guide that football team.
Gillis back out there, 44-yarder from the left hash. Kick is up. It was off the post, but there's a flag on the play, and I think it was before the play as well.
Before the snap, false start, offense number 56. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
It's Elijah Felipe.
That's actually a great penalty because they missed the kick.
So
he might not run stadiums for that one.
Just a heads-up play by an offensive lineman right there. Well, now makes it a 54-yarder, and instead of Gillis, it's going to be Michael Smith, who is their kickoff specialist. Maybe a little bit more leg here from 54, and plenty of legs, splits the uprights. That is blasted by Michael Smith. Sophomore, he's a hometown kid at Florida A&M. He's from Tallahassee. What a leg.
He needs to buy his lineman a meal. He gave him an opportunity to kick that ball over. And you said it. I mean, Chucky, that would have been good for 60.
I think so.
And you look at that and you say, okay, this is now a weapon moving forward as they get into SWAC play.
Confidence for him too, right? I mean, you're
Yes.
at the U making that field goal.
And so you look now, you get past the 35-yard line going in, you feel good about kicking the football if you're Florida A&M.
Smith set to kick it away now. It looked like Cam Ward was throwing the rock around a little on the sideline. Johnson and Lyle deep to return. Toward Johnson, a yard deep in the end zone, takes it across the 10-yard line and now cuts it to the far side of the field. Johnson breaks one tackle across the 30, breaks another tackle to the 40-yard line. Great return from Chris Johnson Jr.
So many weapons for this Miami ball club. You see Chris Johnson Jr., he had the touchdown earlier in the football game. You see the speed, the breaker to get to the outside, the elusiveness, and he's following his blockers a good job. And you see Coach Cristobal reacting. That is exactly what we're looking for. You gotta love it when you can make your head coach act like that.
Well, and Cam Ward stays out there. 7:18 to play in the third quarter. Another chance to add to his impressive stat line so far, and he will. Right away to Brown. trying to use the stiff arm near midfield, and then not enough for a flag there, but physical play along the sideline. Bowler knocks him out.
And I like the way the Florida A&M defenders just got up and ran back on the field as if to say, you know, we're just playing football, nothing extra, no extracurricular.
Ward out wide again near the 40, and that's back-to-back first downs. This time Isaiah Horton back on the action. Ward now over the 300-yard mark, right around 3:05 for the day. They actually marked that short. It's going to be 2nd and 1. Martinez the back. Restrepo in motion. Ward looking to the right side, looking deep, has a man, and dropped. Sam Brown, the intended target, guarded by their top defensive back, Kendall Bowler.
And Sam Brown had a step. I thought Cam put just a little bit too much air under that football. He just needed to lead him on that play. Sam Brown had a step, but you see him have to slow down and try and make an adjustment, and a good job by Bowler continuing to play all the way through, not allowing Sam Brown to come down comfortably and squeeze that football.
3rd and very short here. Restrepo in motion again, handoff to Martinez, bounces it out, gets a block from Restrepo, and Martinez is down to the 34 to move the chains again.
You see the stop and go by Martinez. There was nothing, when you look at how the play was drawn up, when Martinez was able to stop and bounce it to the outside to get the yards necessary to get the first down.
Their 21st of the day. They had 25 first downs in Gainesville last week in week 1. Trips left, Martinez still the back, picks up the rusher. Ward under pressure, now steps up and wants to run it. He's spun down inside the 30 by Jaron Fox.
What's interesting is as athletic as Cam Ward is, he doesn't run the football very often. But what he does a good job of when he does run, when he's close to the sideline, he steps out prior to getting hit, and when he's in the middle of the field, he gets down. He gets as many yards as he possibly can, but he avoids contact.
Saw that last week when he coolly kind of walked it out of bounds in Gainesville along the sideline.
It was demoralizing to those defenders. You saw him. Because it was very nonchalant. It was almost disrespectful.
It's kind of what, I mean, he's just got that swag about him. There's a flag on the field late here. But I think that's trickled down throughout the team, and the coaches love it.
Well, to me, it's kind of a Miami moxie. You know, it's what you expect from the Miami Hurricane football team. That's how they play the game. That's how they act on the field. And he's about that.
After the play, personal foul, defense number 2. 15-yard penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. It's an automatic first down.
Demore Tate called for the penalty.
And that's just unnecessary by Tate. You've got to control your emotions. You can push the guy off of you, but to take a slap and swipe across the face mask, you're going to get that penalty every time.
Jarring with Jacoby George there at the end of that play.
He'll be running at Bragg Stadium on Monday.
Ward looking outside, and receiver slipped. Horton, throw might have been a little behind him. Total yards tonight, Miami 433 to $158. The ACC preseason player of the year, Cam Ward. 2nd and 10, handoff to Martinez. Undercut near the 8-yard line. And brings up third down.
Third down and 6 at the 8.
Big tight end Elijah Arroyo is split out the bottom of your screen all alone. Ward looking left. Plenty of time. Running near the 10-yard line. Ward's going to take off. Diving! Touchdown, Cam Ward! Or did he get in? He did. There's the wheels.
And that was a poor angle by the Florida A&M defender, number 20. You've got to take a better angle. You've got to run to the outside. You want to squeeze Cam and make him cut it back up where pursuit is coming from. That's definitely a touchdown. But Jerome Nichols, you have to do a better job of squeezing him back in. You cannot take a poor angle. Cam has the speed to get to the outside.
Are you holding your breath as a coach on the sideline watching Cam Ward go airborne this late in the game? Ooh.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the last that we see of Cam this afternoon.
Oragalis continues his perfect night. If it was a discussion, that might have expedited his departure.
Yes.
After a very successful night, 8 plays, 60 yards, over 334 that drive.
And Coach Colesy is not happy right now. You see Cam, he's getting to the outside. He sees nobody's there. And the poor angle on the outside taken by Jerome Nichols allows Cam to get to the pylon. You've got to try and get to the outside, make Cam plant that foot and turn it back up. You'll have pursuit coming and possibly be able to get him down. But you cannot get into a foot race with him on the outside. He's going to be the linebacker every time.
And you see him looking at the tablet that they get to use this year for in-game video. Mario Cristobal joked that he felt like he was at home. Everybody's got screens out in their face in it, but he loves it. And
because
right
they're studying. Yeah,
exactly.
They're studying. They're getting ready for the next series, and they're learning. It's an evolution of learning that's going on with these iPads now.
Right after Cam threw that pick last week against Florida, he immediately came off and was asking for one of those tablets. Kick fielded at the goal line by Goldie Lawrence. Lawrence makes a couple miss and dives forward to the 19-yard line on the return. 3:36 to play in the third quarter. It was a successful debut in the hostile swamp last week. 385 through the air, 3 touchdowns, and he's followed it up tonight. 303 passing touchdowns and a rushing.
689 yards in 2 games, 7 touchdowns. The one interception was off somebody's foot, so it's a fluke. I'm not really going to even count that. And, you know, 46 of what, 61? I mean, come on. What else can you ask for?
This guy is special. Rattlers back out there, handoff to Dean, being pursued. Look at all the Hurricanes chasing him down, nowhere to go, and he loses a pair on that play. Muratovic, the quarterback now. This was a contest in the offseason. They brought in Daniel Richardson from Florida Atlantic, where he spent 1 season. Muratovic had been at Florida A&M. This is year 4 for him there. Hasn't played much, just 311 career passing yards on 59 attempts entering this game. But a guy that knows this offense and the expectations very well. Play action pass, Muratovic short pass, and it's batted down by Zaquan Patterson. That's a true freshman.
Well, one of the things I think, too, that helped Daniel Richardson win this quarterback battle was, you know, he came there in January, but they didn't hire a new quarterbacks coach until March. So, you know, the different philosophy. So you lose Coach Simmons, who was the quarterbacks coach, and you bring in, you know, a new quarterbacks coach. So I think that made that competition a little bit more even and allowed Richardson to win the competition.
Muratovic and company in tough position here. 3rd and 12. Inside their own 20-yard line. Pressure coming from Miami. Trying to dump it off short on the crosser. Incomplete. He was looking for Marquez Bell, but just too much pressure from the Hurricanes.
And Marinoa, a good job covering the back out of the backfield, not allowing him to get separation and give Muratovic somewhere comfortable to throw the football.
On to punt for the Rattlers, Trey Williams.
Frustrating night overall for James Colsey and company after what was really a promising first half and a great drive to cap the first half to get that field goal. Another high spiraling punt inside the 40, caught there, and look at this, the speed by Ray Joseph darting across midfield to the 43-yard line where Miami takes over 1st and 10. 21-yard return from Joseph right there. Let's see who is calling the shots for Miami on this drive. It's going to be Reese Poffenbarger, who's a redshirt junior from Middletown, Maryland. He came in from Albany, where he spent 2 years, one of the best quarterbacks at the FCS level, 3,600 yards, 36 touchdowns last year. Handoff and dragged down at the 39-yard line. That's Jordan Lyle, a true freshman from just down the road in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Cam Ward gets to kick his feet up and watch the rest of this game from the sideline after a successful night. How about that? Only Miami player to start a season with 2 straight games of 300 pass yards and 3 pass touchdowns.
12 men on the field. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And that's impressive when you think about some of the great quarterbacks that have played in this program. Ken Dorsey, Steve Walsh, Testaverde, Kozar.
QBU back in the day. 1st and 5 for Poffenbarger, and he's going to keep it this time, showing off the wheels and spinning down to the 28-yard line. TJ Huggins on the stop. We talked a lot about the experience of this for the Florida A&M players, regardless of the score, but for these Miami players as well, early in the season, just trying to get a feel for the offense and new teammates in the case of Poffenbarger. Handoff again up the middle for Lyle, and he has about 4 yards or 3.
Well, looking at last week's game, you know, they played an extremely good football game, but Coach Cristobal talking about it. We have not played our best game. And we want to continue to develop, continue to gel. And their goal is to make this like the Orange Bowl, one of the most difficult places to come and play and try and win a football game.
How many times you play there?
In my career, 5 times. I played 3 Orange Bowls and I played against Miami twice.
What's your record against Miami?
Against Miami? Wasn't that good. It was 2-2.
Hey, not too bad for 2 programs who were dominating some national championships in your time, alongside Forrest Conley, the former Florida State offensive lineman and national champion. I'm Chucky Kemp, Marilyn Payne down on the sideline. We really appreciate you joining us tonight.
Well, you know the talent I played against when I was playing against Miami. You had Ray Lewis, you had Warren Sapp, of course, The Rock, Kenny Holmes, Kennard Lang.
That's JoJo Trader on the catch, the freshman from Hollywood, Florida. That's his first career reception. He was banged up in camp, but he was going to be ready this week. This is a big-time player.
I watched him. I called his his high school state championship game last year, and he played on the same team with Jeremiah Smith, the superstar freshman up at Ohio State. This young man right here is going to be a phenomenal player for this university. He has some of the best hands I've ever seen on the outside. He can fingertip footballs. He's a great route runner. He has a bright future ahead of him.
They go the other direction this time. Stumbling down inside the 15, that's Nye Carr. That's a true freshman from Moultrie, Georgia. They like this kid as well. But back to your point on JoJo Trader. That's a 5-star recruit, number 25 on the ESPN 300. They are stockpiling talent in this program right now.
Going to continue to reload talent for this program.
We got 2 tight ends from the state of Oregon between Williams and McCormick, and now Lyle getting loose. He wanted it, but just short of the end zone. The true freshman looking for his first career touchdown tonight.
And you see the jump cut ability by Lyle. You see the jump cut, he gets to then the speed to try to get to the edge. He's able to stop sliding and keep his balance and continue to go forward.
13 yards on the carry. Poffenbarger in the shotgun, handing off again to Lyle. They want to get him number 1, and there it is, the first of Jordan Lyle's career as he plunges into the end zone. Six plays, 43 yards over 3 minutes and 11 seconds for the Miami Hurricanes.
And I asked the coaching staff, if you need 1 yard, who are you running behind? And they said Inez Cooper, and right there they ran behind the big fella, and he's able to get in for his first touchdown of his college career.
Abram Murray on the extra point, giving Borregales a spell. Same result, but a special moment right there, I'm sure, for Jordan Lyle, his first career touchdown, a 4-star recruit out of St. Thomas Aquinas, 20 minutes north of this stadium.
Another hometown kid, and a good job knowing where to run the football. Run behind your big fellas. Run behind Samson Okunolola. Run behind those big guys. Get yourself behind them where the defenders can't see you, and just push, push, push.
Mario Cristobal a little bit happier here in this second half. They outgained Florida A&M 219 in the third quarter. Message received, I think, at halftime.
Absolutely. You have to look at the way the first drive was extremely easy, and they jumped up on Florida A&M. And any team, you know, you can start to feel yourself a little bit and get a little bit comfortable.
Booted away for another touchback. Let's check out some of the early results. Great game last night, BYU taking down SMU. That's an ACC team now, which is bizarre to me, but
back and forth too. That was a really good game.
And Cal going to Auburn and picking up a big win. I mean, there's some interesting results today that we've seen so far.
Pitt beating Cincinnati. That's you know, an ACC team beating the Big 12 team.
And coming from behind, Cincinnati got off to a great start at home in that game.
Duke Northwestern was an interesting game as well. That went to overtime.
Well, up next for Miami, it'll be Ball State here at Hard Rock Stadium. A bye week for Florida A&M next week, which after a really good start to the season, they started 2-0, a couple come from behind wins. You get to come to Miami, tough weekend, but a chance to reset here in this bye week.
And that'll be good for this ball club. Remember, they started week 0. So they, you know, are probably, you know, needing that rest. A lot of emotion.
Yeah, one of very few teams in the country that have played 2 games to this point. Second and 8. Muratovic sends a man in motion. Low snap, handoff up the middle. And a few yards on the carry. Dorian Collier.
If there's anything the Miami coaching staff will come away from this game, you know, having some concern about, is Florida A&M's ability to run the ball between the tackles. They've got some good runs. They've broke some runs as well, running that football. And as they get into conference play and play against some tougher opponents, that's something that they're going to have to work on to make sure they're able to stop that run in the middle of that defense.
Top offense and defense in the SWAC last year. They lost Jeremy Musa, their star quarterback. This is picked off. Intercepted in the middle of the field. Cam Pruitt. How about that for a true freshman from Theodore, Alabama?
And some more of that talent that Coach Cristobal talked about. Watch Pruitt. He's just dropping the quarterback. He's throwing off of his back foot. There was nowhere to go with the football. You just throw that into the ground or take the sack. You don't throw that football. There are 3 defenders there. There was one Florida A&M offensive player, but he was almost out of the picture when he released that football. He had immediate pressure because they brought the blitz. You just got to throw that ball away or take the sack, but you don't throw the ball in the middle of the field like that.
1st and 10 at the 32-yard line for Miami, and Poffenbarger wants to throw it quick out wide. Hit quickly over there. Nice tackle by Michael Opong. Let's check in with Maryland.
Mario Cristobal's complaints about the demeanor of his team should be largely rectified after the way they paid attention with so much focus to these iPads in between every drive in this 3rd and 4th quarter. Jordan Lyle following the image that was set by the running backs in front of him, Mark Fletcher, as well as Damian Martinez. The only distracted moment, though, Mark singing happy birthday to Jordan Lyle. He's 19 today, guys.
19 years old and a very, very bright future. He gets his first touchdown in his first career home game. It's a good birthday.
Sorry.
A.J. Allen on the carry that play for Miami. It sets up 3rd and 8. I feel like Maryland's probably looking for birthday cake right now on the sideline. She's hunting it down. Three receiver bunch set to the right. Another handoff, this time Allen again pushing forward. Stopped at the 26-yard line. Miami very effective on 3rd down tonight. 7 for 9 before that one. Sets up 4th and 4. Two receivers each way for Poffenbarger. In the pocket, dropped it. Might have gotten it caught on one of his own teammates. And then he's driven back. And just the play completely blown up. Hard to say what happened there. The turnover on downs. That's that Miami humidity for us. Couldn't hold on to it there. And Florida A&M will take over. Let's see what happened to Poffenbarger. Yep, just slipped it. the night James Colsey and company had hoped for completely. Got off to a slow start. They bounced back. They've won 13 straight games, 22 of their last 23. The only loss in there was to USF last year. But this is it's been a dominant program in the SWAC the last few seasons. Celebration Bowl champions last year, a 12-1 year. And already off to a 2-0 start.
False start. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
And Maryland has more.
Yeah, guys, the Florida A&M guys were thrilled to be playing in Hard Rock Stadium. They said this is the type of night where legends are made, and as this program celebrated its 45th anniversary of the only win against Miami, their players thought a lot about that and part of the legacy of their program. Win or lose here tonight, for many of the guys with NFL aspirations to get to play in Hard Rock Stadium is a pretty big deal, and they know the scouts are here to look for the Canes, but they wanted to play in ways they felt proud of in front of those NFL scouts tonight. In particular, Daniel Richardson is from Miami. That's his hometown. And he said, listen, I hate to say this week, but I love Miami. I love the Canes. It's usually go Canes, except for when it's us. Definitely not tonight, but I'm excited to be out there.
James Colsey talked about they've got a couple pros. They got a couple Hall of Famers from back in the day. These guys wanted their opportunity to show out. I thought Richardson overall was pretty good.
Absolutely, and Florida A&M has a great program, you know, a great history with the NFL. Ken Riley just went into the Hall of Fame, should have been in the Hall of Fame. But, you know, they have a a program rich in tradition.
Pumped it out wide to Jalen Howard in the flats. That brings up third down. James Colsey just trying to carry on that tradition. First year as head coach. He's been there a couple years prior under Willie Simmons. Founded in 1887, Florida A&M in Tallahassee, Florida. That lone win Maryland talked about was in Tallahassee. It's the only game these two have played there. 16-13 the final score. First time they ever met back in 1979. Fired across the middle, tipped and incomplete. Robert Stafford in on the coverage, batted that pass away. A redshirt freshman from Melbourne, Florida. Brings up 4th and 8. It's Restrepo back to return this punt. Standing at the 14-yard line. He sneak back out there?
He's just a gamer. He's a guy that just loves playing the game.
I might get a chance here. Fields it at the 21, fair caught though. And that'll send us to a timeout. Just over 10 minutes to play here in Miami Gardens, Florida.
Team College Football Playoff begins December 20th on 12-team college football playoff begins December 20th on ESPN.
Can't wait for this for us. I am so excited for the expansion of the college football playoff. The 5 highest-ranked conference champions receive automatic bids. It guarantees a group of 5 conference team to make the playoff. That's been one of the big discussion points. The 4 highest-ranked conference champions receive first-round byes. I'm ready to see the playoff game on the home sites, though. That opening round games between the 5 to 12 teams, I can't wait to see those home site games.
That's going to be exciting. And what's interesting, when you look at the ACC, they don't have divisions anymore. So they're going to take the 2 best teams. So you look at a team like Georgia Tech that lost today. Even a team like Florida State that has 2 losses, of course, they would have to have an immaculate finish to the season to get in. But the top 2 teams in the conference will compete for the conference championship. So that makes it all that more interesting when we get to those 12 teams at the end of the season.
I'll put you on the spot here. Is Mario Cristobal leading his team to the college football playoff this year?
I think they have a really good chance. When you look at their schedule, you look at how they're playing, they're going to continue to get better. You look at the talent, and you look at their depth. One of the things they talked about on their defensive front was last year they ran out of defensive linemen, so they had to go to a 3-man front. And this year, they made sure to shore that up. So they've got a lot of depth. They talked about that. This is the most depth they've had. Those recruiting classes are now starting to be able to produce. We've seen a lot of freshmen play today. They've got freshmen that are starting on both sides of the ball, and they've got guys that are ready to go. We talked about JoJo Trader. He's a dynamic player on the outside. Nye Carr, you know, another dynamic player on the outside. So they've got players across the board. You know, look at Jordan Lyle, a running back. You know, you've already got Martinez and Fletcher. Then you bring in Lyle. Chris Johnson, he scored a touchdown. He's another back. So they've got the tools necessary to compete. They have to protect Cam Ward. That is the key for Miami.
And Maryland has more on this.
Damian Martinez is watching our college football playoff promos if nobody else is. He told me this is the longest college football season ever, and we expect to be playing in that latest than ever last game, but we have so much work to do, even beyond just beating Florida in the Swamp and winning our home opener. It's in the details, and we have to continue to get better.
And we appreciate that, Marilyn. I'm glad you caught him checking out the college football playoff promos. Offenbarger on the run, throws a dart downfield, incomplete. Good coverage down there. And the other thing, you mentioned the schedule for Miami. Entering today, they had 2 teams that were ranked left on their schedule. Florida State's not in the rankings anymore. One of those teams was Georgia Tech, who was ranked 23rd and lost at Syracuse. They're going to have possibly just 1 ranked team left on the schedule. They can run the table.
I'll tell you a dark horse. Everybody's looking at the Louisville game. Florida State will still be tough. I think they'll get it together by the time they play. Duke will play tough because, you know, Manny's going to have those guys ready to play. Manny Diaz, the new head coach at Duke University. But a game that is scary to me, that at South Florida. South Florida's giving Alabama problems right now. And you've got a team full of guys that are from the state of Florida. They've got some talent from down here in South Florida on that ball club in Tampa. I think that is a game that you have to be careful.
Officials time out on the field for injury.
Well, in that regular season finale at Syracuse, you just never know with all the transfers. It's hard to dissect teams early in the year, but certainly Kyle McCord and Syracuse looked the part today against Georgia Tech.
At Louisville as well could be a tough matchup, because you have to factor in injuries. You have to factor in, you know, teams getting better. It's still early in the season. There's a lot of football left to play. But I think if they can keep Cam Ward healthy, he's got all of the tools that he needs to be successful and for this team to continue to play on and get to the college football playoffs.
That was Michael Opong that left for Florida A&M. Now Poffenbarger stepping up, using his legs to extend the play beyond the pocket, running, spinning, and falling for a first down. Reese Poffenbarger's first action as a Miami Hurricane tonight. And the backup role to Cam Ward. They also have Emory Williams, who's a young guy out of Milton, Florida, at that spot.
Officials time out on the field for injury.
And it looks like some of the Florida A&M players are cramping up right now.
It's number 92, Stantavius Smith, and will step away. Here at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida, as the Hurricanes head toward 2-0 on the season. They're ranked 12th in the country as it stands, and maybe on the way up after some top 10 losses this week. 1st and 10 for Poffenbarger and company. They are at the 37-yard line. Under 7 minutes to play. Handoff for Lyle. He's dancing and shoots forward for about 5 yards. And some good action for their reserves out there on the field. Second and 6. Joseph in motion. They will throw it to Ray Joseph in space. Knocked out, and maybe they do get the first down to move the chains to the freshman Joseph.
There's just so many, there's so many dynamic choices for the quarterbacks to go to on this Miami ball club. You know, whether it's the tight ends, it's the receivers, or the running backs, there are just so many choices and so many plays and so many areas that they can attack you from on the football field.
And some great veterans for these young guys to learn from. We talked about all these talented young receivers, but you're behind guys like Xavier Restrepo and Sam Brown, Jacoby George, who have been around, who have played a lot of football at a high level, that can kind of guide them in this early stages of their career. "20 different receivers have caught the ball tonight between the two teams. 12 for Miami. Another handoff. Allen across the 20, spinning, breaking a tackle to the 10. A.J. Allen showing off what he can do. Second year at Miami after transferring from Nebraska.
And all the things you look for from a running back: vision, the jump cut, balance, strength to break tackles, the spin, and the power to fall forward. And then a breakdance move to get up.
That's how you get out of bed, isn't it? Something like that.
I don't have that type of agility. I have to kind of sit at the edge of the bed and let everything get going before I get going.
I've been trying to talk you up all night. Too humble.
Hey, man. I've got that old man disease going on right now.
Approaching the 4-minute mark here, 2nd and goal. Allen stays in the backfield next to Poffenbarger. Movement and flags.
False start. Offense number 52. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, Mario Cristobal is going to have words because that is his nephew, Lou Cristobal, jumping there. He told us in our call, he said, look, he gets it worse than anybody.
And you see him biting his tongue right there, biting his lips. So, Coach Cristobal is going to have some words for him.
Mario played offensive line here. He's a hard-nosed guy as Lofton's pushed out of bounds by a host of Rattlers.
And see, something like that play is demoralizing because he never went down. They were hitting him. He's spinning off of hits, but Lofton didn't go down. I mean, little things like that, little intangibles like that, mess with a defensive's head and their mindset when you've got a guy that's doing stuff like that. So, and that's the thing that you look at with this ball club. Little things like that. Don't go down. Don't let a defense know they can tackle you. Those are the intangibles that make great ball clubs as you move forward into tougher play and into conference play in a couple of weeks.
And brings up 3rd and goal. Back at the 14-yard line. Poffenbarger spun around, trying to stay on his feet, but not going to go anywhere. Khalil Hunter, one of them in on the stop.
And you see the dip under by the right defensive end. Number 62 has to do a better job for Miami getting back, keeping those shoulders square. You've got to get in front of the defender. You cannot open that outside shoulder too early. You have to get to 3 kick steps back prior to opening that outside shoulder, because at that 3rd kick step, you're at the quarterback's level, and you can run the defender past the quarterback. Nice job by the Florida A&M defensive end to get that dip and get past that offensive tackle to get the sack.
Another chance for Abram Murray from 39 yards, and that's good. He's 2 for 2 tonight in relief for Borregales. And we are at the 2-minute timeout. 56-9, all Hurricanes. Cam Ward's debut here at Hard Rock Stadium, I think it went to plan.
I think it did, and when you look at what he's been able to do, he spreads the ball around, he goes through his progressions, he sees when there's a broken coverage, when there's a mix-up on the back end of defenses, and he's very calm, cool, and collected. And people have continued to ask the question, is the U back? They are looking like they're back. They just need to continue to stay in the moment and at all costs protect Cam. He's like Neo. He is the one.
It looks like he is playing the game at a different speed than everyone else. Like he's seeing it in slow motion. Well,
the game is slow. It's very slow to him. And when you think about it, he's played down at Incarnate Word in the Southland Conference. Then he goes out to, the Pac-10 and plays out there against tough competition and tough environments. And everybody was talking about going to Florida Field and playing there and how difficult it was going to be with the noise and all that good stuff. Let's not act like he hadn't played at USC. Let's not act like he hadn't played at Oregon. Let's not act like he hadn't played at Washington. He's played at some tough environments. There's some tough environments at the FCS level. So this kid, he just has all the intangibles and the moxie, and he's where he wants to be, and this offense is catered to him with the talent that he has around him. He has an abundance of talent to spread the ball around.
And a great relationship with the Miami head coach, Mario Cristobal, year 3 for him. And he told us, upon arrival back to Miami, reality set in for him on how much it had truly fallen off. He said one thing that was a blessing, the people that hired him knew this was a roll up your sleeves kind of job. It's going to take some time. And he said he takes a lot of pride in building, and that's what we've seen. It's top recruiting classes back-to-back years. It's a third one on the way next year, and dominance in the transfer portal.
And I love the story that he shared with us about Cam when he was angry that Cam was getting ready to go to the NFL, and he said Cam called him, and he just answered the phone, "What?" And when Cam told him, "I wanted to be a Hurricane," he said, "But I want to get my family and get it." No, we're going to make the announcement right now to the media. You're not changing your mind anymore. I got to get you in here. So I love that about this whole program and about what they're building and that relationship that he has with Cam.
Check in with Marilyn, who can add.
The margin for error here at Miami is so thin because it means so much to Mario Cristobal. His frustration at halftime is evidence of that, and his players, they feel it and they know it on the sideline. It's part of the expectation for this program. Fans down here, y'all, they're thanking players for playing the way they play tonight. A couple of the fans along the sideline telling me it's been 15 years, if not longer. This is what we've been waiting for. That's the reception for Cristobal, and he knows that he wants it more than they do, even so.
Yeah, said he couldn't stand watching it from afar anymore. He had had enough and wanted to come back to his alma mater and deliver what they've been waiting for. Maryland said it's been a long time. It's been over 2 decades since their last national championship in 2001. It is truly a tall task to put together a roster like what they had on that 2001 team, which was, we were talking earlier, Forrest, that was laughable.
You have to say that's the best team ever when you look at the talent on that ball club. The only other team that I could say that could possibly even compete, and I'm not saying this because it's my school, but that championship team from Florida State in 2013, I think it was, or 2014, when you look at all the talent on the field on both sides of the field, but that team by Miami, they had 4 NFL running backs on that team. I mean, they just were stacked. And when you think about this program as a whole, look at this year alone, you had 2 people going to the Hall of Fame. And when you think about the people that are going to go into the Hall of Fame from this program that are still active in the NFL, it is a tradition, and they're getting back to what Miami used to be. The fans are believing in it. The community is believing in it. The recruiters are believing in it and coming here. And it's continuing to grow, and it's about having a hometown guy running the program again.
The clock ticking down to 34 seconds remaining in this game. And for Florida A&M, they have had bright days, and there are brighter days ahead. A tough place to come to play the Miami Hurricanes, but this team is going to be very good again this year. That is an interception and a nice return down the sideline, picked off by Adarius Hayes.
And you see the joy by the teammates, all congratulating him. That's something you hadn't seen in a while on the Miami sideline. Those guys playing for each other, playing for one another. And that's what Coach Cristobal has brought to this program. They play for each other. There's no individuality on this ball club. And that is how you chase and win championships, playing for each other.
Well, talking to Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, that's one thing. Really, both coordinators said that, Shannon Dawson and Lance Guidry on the defensive side, how much they love seeing these players and the interactions that they have and the personalities that mix on this team to make them what they are. 1st and 10 with 25 seconds left. Another handoff up the middle. Judd Anderson is in at quarterback now. And that's going to be the last play of the game. Mario Cristobal in year 3. It was his best season when he was at Oregon with a senior quarterback who threw for almost 3,500 yards by the name of Justin Herbert. Well, he's got